Hey guys, this is Frozen Things Studios here, and welcome back to another movie review. And for today's movie review, it's going to be on Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, or simply Pinocchio. So Pinocchio is the latest animated movie to come out in 2022, and is directed by Guillermo del Toro. It's on Netflix right now, and it has a huge cast of Gregory Mann, David Bradley, Christoph Waltz, Tilda Swinton, Kate Blanchett, Finn Wolfhard, Ron Perlman, and I think I'm missing someone. But yeah, it's a stack cast. So basically, the plot for Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio is about to sum it up, the cricket is the cricket who the name is changed from Jiminy to Sebastian. It's a story you think you know, but you don't. That's pretty much what this movie exactly is. A movie that you think you know, but you don't. So the story is nothing. It is nothing like the Disney classic. It's completely different. And yeah, since there are so many versions of Pinocchio. So yeah, what is the story about? You may ask. Well, Geppetto loses his real life son because of a war. And not being able to cope with his son's death, he creates a puppet, and then in order to make Geppetto happy, the puppet is brought back to life, and so Geppetto must and so Geppetto becomes a father again to a living wooden boy, and Pinocchio must prove to be worthy of Geppetto's new son and live up to Geppetto's previous son. And by the way, Geppetto's previous son, his name is Carlos, just to let you know. And well, of course, he gets into a circus, and he actually does join the military. And well, it's like it has the same structure and flow as the original, but the story is there. And this movie does have still maintain the same message of obedience and what it means to live. And yeah, um, so yeah, I was excited for this movie for a lot of reasons. First of all, Guillermo del Toro is an amazing director. I wouldn't go as far as calling him one of the greatest directors ever. I will admit though, I think Shape of Water is overrated. I'm sorry guys, but Shape of Water is not best picture worth and material, but winner material. I just don't think it's that good. I mean, I just don't really buy into the idea of like a woman making out with a fish. That's just But yeah, probably one of my least favorite best picture winners. Didn't like Crimson Peak that much. I think it's forgettable. And but then he got like absolute gems like Pan's Labyrinth, which I think is probably before this one, that was his only masterpiece. I mean, I love the Hellboy movies and Pacific Rim, but yeah, Guillermo del Toro's like this was Guillermo del Toro's passion project. He really wanted to make his own version of Pinocchio since 2008. Yeah, he was really so passionate about it. But yeah, he's like really passionate about it. And we all thought that this was going to be another a canceled movie, but guess what? Well, this year Netflix is able to save the movie and it's brought back. And so yeah, and the trailers really hit me hard. I love the trailer. It looks so emotional, and it looks like the true Pinocchio movie we need. Especially after that disastrous um, Robert Zemeckis live action remake that we got recently. Ugh, we don't talk about that one. But then, yeah, finally this one came out at last. And what do I think of it now? I mean, what do I think of it after watching it? Oh my god, this movie was brilliant. It was perfection. And I'm gonna say right now, this is the best anime film of the year. And this year kind of sucked for animation. This year I lost faith in animation. I started to have a huge hate boner towards animation. I mean, and everyone's complaining that I was like taking animation way too seriously. But that's just because like this year kind of sucked, and there's just too many bad animated movies nowadays. Like I mean, it feels that rather make kids look stupid, and make look stupid and just obnoxious in your face, and just I mean, this was the year where this was the era we were like in the era where I was pretty much done with animation. The only anime movies that have faith in are Disney movies, Pixar movies, and Netflix animated movies. Even though Puss in Boots does look decent, I don't know. I still like don't really like animation. I mean, I hated Anything That Tries to Grow. I hated DC League of Super Pets. I hated Paws of Fury, which I forgot. I think y'all forgot that movie existed by now, and but of course, I mean, this was the one anime film that I feel like could be the savior of animation, and yeah, but yeah, this movie made me the animation fanboy I was again. Like I was an animation fan, but after like losing interest in animation, Guillermo del Toro's um, Netflix Pinocchio movie absolutely made me an animation fan again. It really this movie reminded me of why I love animation, why animation can be special, why animation can. Oh, by the way, I'm out right now in my garage, in my neighborhood, so that's why you can hear a car noise. But yeah, um, it's movies like this that makes me love animation. That makes me feel like there's still like uniqueness in animation. There's still some specialty in animation. And yeah, yes, and yeah, and this is a this is so gonna win Best Anime Feature at the Oscars. Not only could this win, but this could actually get nominated for Best for Best Picture. This is gonna be the fourth Best Picture nominated animated movies, like after Beauty and the Beast, Up, and forgot the other one, but I don't know. But there's one more, but I don't remember. But if you guys remember that one anime movie, Best Picture anime movie that I missed out, let me know below. But yeah, this I hope this gets nominated for Best Picture. Otherwise, I don't know. I'll be disappointed. But yeah, although I do think that either the Fablemans would win Best Picture. But yeah, and but this is also my favorite Pinocchio movie ever. Yeah, yes, I mean the 1940s Disney Walt Disney classic is a masterpiece. There's no denying that, but this one actually brings this to a whole new level. I mean, this is the Pinocchio we need. The 1940s Pinocchio movie is nothing like the original. It's the original is well, it is dark and grim, but this one is yeah, this one is pretty much not for kids. I will say that. Yeah. Oh yeah, and also this is also my second favorite movie of the year, so, in general, second only to Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, and it is easily in my top 10 favorite anime movies of all time. And this is the best Netflix movie as well, the best Netflix movie, and even The Thrones Mitchell's vs. the Machine is the best Netflix animated movie. I mean, yes, I mean this is the best Netflix movie, whether animation or live action, and that really says something considering that how much Netflix has been consistent with their animation, with their movies, are bringing in some of the best streaming movies ever made. And this is probably right now in my top 10 favorite movies of all time. And yeah, that's how much I praise this movie. Why is this movie so good? Well, first of all, I will just say that this movie is not for kids. I mean, it's rated PG and it's rated 7 plus on Netflix. Well, I call it BS on that. This felt like a PG-13 movie and 13 plus. It should have been rated 13 plus on Netflix. And I don't even think it should be in the kids category because no, yes, it is watchable for kids, but kids are not gonna appreciate this movie's message. This message, and I mean this movie pretty much tackles heavy themes of war. Yes, there is war involved in this movie. War, death, life. Well, yes, life and death have been talked about. Have been discussed in other anime movies, but they don't. But it's not like as deep as it. But I think this one did it the best. Like told this theme the best. Because it's done in a way that's just a lot more mature and a lot more deep, and you actually see characters tragically die. Like I mean, like in a brutal death. I mean, that's the farthest that this movie has gone. Like it has some brutal deaths. This movie has a lot of social commentary on 1930s Italy. Like because this movie does take place in 1930s, so of course you'd see some of like the nasty side of the world. Like you see war and you know I mean you see a lot of war, and this movie also has a lot of religious like aspects as well. No, I don't talk religion on social media, but this movie pretty much represents my religion, which is Roman Catholic, and this movie has a lot of references to that, and that's pretty much. I don't know if that those kinds of things are suitable for kids. I don't think kids would appreciate seeing religious themes being put into family movies. But yeah, and yes, this is a family movie technically, but I think it's a movie that kids shouldn't watch alone. That's pretty much what I meant to say earlier when I said not for kids. It's a film that kids shouldn't watch on their own. They need like a guidance from their parents. And out and man, also like what I love about this movie is that um the Disney animated Pinocchio, the Disney Pinocchio version has a lot of questions. That I feel like that this movie no it answers, but they explore they expand. Why did Geppetto make Pinocchio? How did Pinocchio come to life? Those questions were answered. Geppetto made Pinocchio because excuse me. Geppetto made Pinocchio because sorry guys. I'm okay. Stupid sneeze. But yeah. Geppetto made Pinocchio because, well, like I said, his son Carlos died, and he couldn't get over it, so he just wanted another son. But then he didn't really think he needed it because, when Pinocchio came to life, he, Geppetto at first didn't like him, but he of course he learned to love his son because Pinocchio did love Geppetto. But first Geppetto didn't like Pinocchio because Pinocchio isn't his real son. But but of course, well, Geppetto is learns to be a good father to Pinocchio. So both Pinocchio and Geppetto do have their own flaws. Have their own flaws, and they have things that they need to learn. Like they need to learn to love each other and to have a real father and son bonding. And what was there to say? And let's talk about the characters and voice acting now. Yeah, this is some of the best voice acting ever put to film. No, no, okay, well, not that far. I meant to say is this has some of the best voice work in an animated movie. Like one of them, I'm not sure if I would say it's the best one in season. You got Kristen Bell and Idina Menzel as Anna and Elsa in Frozen 2, but damn, does the voice acting here come close? I mean, what I love about the voice acting is that the actors just, I mean, you hardly recognize most of these actors, specifically the famous ones, and each one of them gives a unique kind of voice to them, and they don't sound like the actors. The only ones that do sound like the actual actors is well Ewan McGregor as Sebastian Cricket, and at times Christoph Waltz as Count Volpe. Also Tilda Swinton as the Blue Fairy. But the resident now I mean maybe Gregory Mann and David Bradley, but I'm not too familiar with the voice, so I can't say if they sound like themselves or they just if they have a unique voice to them. But yeah, um that's what makes it unique. And each of them gives like a strong talent. They're not just voice acting. They're really like being the character. They're really the voice of the character. It's not. You don't see acting in it, and that's why I love. I wish there's a category for best voice acting in Oscars. They probably nominated at least one person from one actor from this movie, or at least two of them, or like like a few of them. And and I think all the characters in this movie are. They're easy to connect with, and they're easy to resonate with. I resonate with like almost every single character. Pretty much the good characters. You got Pinocchio, who's pretty much everything that the live action version of him should have been, like the one from the Robin Zemeckis. Like, if you remember that Pinocchio, he didn't really do anything bad. Like he was just they made him just someone so perfect, and he wasn't tempted, and he didn't really disobey his brother. Well, only like in I don't know how to say this, but only a little bit. But Pinocchio doesn't really learn anything from that movie, and he doesn't turn into a real boy at the end. And But this Pinocchio, he's unlikable, he's aggressive, he's mean, and he actually disobeys his father. I mean, that's pretty much what Pinocchio should do. Like Pinocchio needs to be unlikable in order to convey the message of being obedient and obeying your father. And of course, how can anyone forget the infamous growing of the nose? And I mean, and he actually does it to his father. Like he lies to his father. In in the original Pinocchio, he lies to the fairy, but he doesn't lie to his father. So his father doesn't really know that Pinocchio's nose grows, which is pretty much one of my nitpicks with the classic. But and yeah, he says, and he even like and but um Geppetto immediately finds out that Pinocchio lied because his nose grows, and man, I also resonate with Geppetto just as much as Pinocchio, because like what I said, Geppetto doesn't like Pinocchio because he's not Carlos. He's not Carlos, but Geppetto needs to learn to be a good father to even a puppet. And you really feel bad for him because everyone, because like Pinocchio has people describe Pinocchio as a demonic as a demon possession, like possessed by a devil. Like when Geppetto was in church, Pinocchio like literally came into the church, and then like everyone got scared of him and called him a demonic possession, and they all like kicked Geppetto out of church. And man, I really felt bad for him, just kicking Geppetto out of the church community just over a puppet. Man, that's just sad, man. And and then Geppetto's actually mean to his son. Like he's a really mean father. I'm sure there are mean fathers out there. Like he's actually, he goes as far as an abusive father. Like he actually abuses his son. Like he says like he calls him something that Pinocchio, I forget the word, but he says a lot of bad stuff to his son, and he hurts Pinocchio's feelings. And yeah, that's pretty much a new take on this one. He pretty much reminds me of okay, I'm gonna bring up my obsession for Cobra Kai again, but he reminds me of Daniel Lucio, where he acts so aggressive towards people in, like, Cobra Kai season 5. If you remember that, that's pretty much what Geppetto is. He's an aggressive father. He just needs to, but he's not really a bad person. He just needs to learn to adapt to Pinocchio. And that and I know that Pinocchio just wants to help his father pay but yeah, and then we get to I think, and then let's talk about Candlewick. I love this Candlewick. Candlewick was my least favorite Pinocchio character, whether the animated or live action version. But this Candlewick, I mean, he's like someone to really resonate with. I love this version of Candlewick because for once I actually cared about him. Like, I like him in the Pinocchio, but I don't love him. But I mean, first of all, Candlewick is voiced wonderfully by Finn Wolfhard, who you might know as Mike Wheeler from Stranger Things. I think this is his best performance since Stranger Things. Nothing it's better, but just as good. Maybe like tied. But man, Candlewick has a really one of the abusive father who's pretty much the lead military, but he wants his son to do what he wants. He's pretty much he treats his son like a puppet, but then Candlewick like decides to actually not follow his father's orders, and yeah, Candlewick like doesn't want his father because he prefers Pinocchio over his father, and man, his emotions, like his emotional moments, it really made me tear up. And oh yeah, also like, oh yeah, I have to go back to one part I said I forgot about it, but yeah, I explained how Geppetto made Pinocchio, but there's also a part where I had the question: how did Pinocchio really come back to life? I mean, in the Disney classic, you got the wand that goes to Pinocchio that makes him alive, like magic. In this version, the Pinocchio actually comes from this world, which pretty much represents heaven. Like it's like Pinocchio's heaven, and then you got the blue fairy who represents God. I mean, and then pretty much um, Pinocchio is actually immortal. He goes to his version of, well, heaven, quotation mark, and he pretty much has like a few minutes to stay there. The rule is that you need to wait for the hourglass to run out before Pinocchio can come back to life. And that's brilliant actually. That's a brilliant way to show how Pinocchio comes back to life, how he's immortal. I mean, there's been a lot of times when Pinocchio actually dies. I mean, he gets run over, he gets shot, he drowns. I mean, there's like so many different ways that he dies, but then he comes back to life because he's immortal. And in the end, they explain that Pinocchio doesn't really they explain that Pinocchio lives long, and well, I will say that Pinocchio doesn't really turn into a real boy. He stays a puppet. No, we don't see Pinocchio turn into a human being. He stays a puppet throughout. But then Pinocchio turns into a real boy technically. But I'm worried that there'll be some people who would complain that Pinocchio doesn't turn into a human. But it's not like the original. I mean, technically Pinocchio is a real boy, and they explain how Pinocchio is a real boy at the end, even if he still looks like a puppet because you know, puppets are usually immortal. As a puppet, he's immortal. He doesn't die, but he pretty much destroyed the hourglass. He in his heaven, and then he pretty much once he broke the hourglass, he instantly turned into human. He became a real boy because, like I said, real boy doesn't have to be human. You just have to have a life. I mean, one life. I mean, Pinocchio has like so many chances of living, but this one, when you turn to a real boy, they said that he only had one chance left. So if he dies, then he permanently dies. He goes to heaven and blah blah blah. And yeah, and now let's talk about my favorite character in the movie, Count Volpe. He is probably in my top five favorite animated movie villains. My God, he is absolutely menacing. He is scary. He's abusive, and I mean, and pretty much what a villain is supposed to be. Yeah, maybe I might be biased, because he's voiced by Christoph Waltz, who you may know him as Blofeld from the Bond movies, but Count Volpe is literally the Hans Landa of animated movies, and I mean him from Inglorious Bastards. That's how you know that he's actually a really intimidating villain, and there's a scene where like I mean, at first he seems like, okay, he's not that threatening. He just wants Pinocchio. What bad can he do? How bad can he get? Oh my goodness! Like, he tortures his co-worker, his assist, which is pretty much a monkey named Spiritual, or whatever you pronounce him. But in Kate Blanchett, surprisingly has a really good monkey voice. Not only does he abuse his own co-worker, but he literally like, there's actually this scene where Pinocchio ruins Count Volpe's reputation by singing a fart song, and I'm sure you know how I feel about fart jokes in animated movies like toilet humor, but how they did it, like, it was like done right. Like, they actually managed to make it funny, and like what's better is that this one of the audience members literally shoots up Pinocchio just for singing a fart song. That is hilarious. Like, that's just hilarious. But of course, well, Pinocchio is still immortal at the time. And Count Volpe literally tortures Pinocchio. He hangs him on a cross, and I mean like the cross that Jesus hanged him. I mean, he hangs him on a cross and then tries to burn him. Like, but of course Pinocchio does escape. Of course, because why would the movie actually kill a Pinocchio? I wouldn't want that to happen. And yeah, man. The animation is absolutely gorgeous as well, but I think the story overshadows the animation. I mean, the animation, you can tell that it's made by heart. Fun fact: the movie's actually made them handmade. The character designs are handmade. How much heart was put into the animation, but I think it's the writing that overshadows the animation. I think this movie has like the best writing of the year, and I mean, yeah, the animation is beautiful, but okay, well, okay, so I'll let us off with the songs, man. The songs, incredible. Um, now I will admit that the songs are the weakest part of the film, but I loved all the songs. Ciao Papa is the best song and probably one of my favorite scenes in the film. Now, I'm not quite sure what's my favorite scene. I mean, there's a lot of favorite scenes. Probably the war scene, I guess, with the war scene is my favorite. Yeah, but or anything involving Count Volpes, Master Evil Plan, but yeah, Ciao Papa, man, that song really made me cry. I think it's an Oscar-worthy song. If it wins Best Original Song, I'd be fine with it. Yeah, yeah, Ciao Papa really made me cry. In fact, the movie is emotional as well. It's gonna make. I mean, I cried in the last scenes. I cried in the first 10 minutes. I cried at the song, and I bawled in the end. Man, this movie really touched me. It hit me deep, and yeah, and oh yeah, I want to talk about the whale first. And then the whale. This is the scariest that the whale has ever been in. This is a scary whale. And they actually do set him up, unlike the live action remake where the whale like pretty much comes from nowhere. And yeah, and so overall, this is the best version of Pinocchio by far, and it's not even close. And I pretty much said everything that can be said. It's the best anime film of the year. It's the best Pinocchio movie, and also it's the best Guillermo del Toro movie as well. And so yeah, this movie does everything that you want in a Pinocchio movie and in a reboot in general. This is how you do a reboot. You have a different take on it. You change the story a little bit, but still like keep the message of the movie. This is one of the most mature and deep and dark anime films I've ever seen. I said one of, by the way, one of, not the most mature. That still goes to Frozen too, but this movie pretty much has a perfect social commentary of like the 1930 events, the Nazi world, the wars, the hatred, the social comment while still maintaining the message of Pinocchio about obedience and and loving your parents. And yeah, so this movie is pretty much made from the heart, and this is pretty much one of the best anime movies. It's in my, or rather in my top 10 favorite anime films of all time. Please, I implore you to watch this movie. Saying I recommend this movie is an understatement. You need to watch this movie. A lot of my subscribers are diehard animation fans. They pretty much praise animation. But if you don't watch this movie, then you're not a true animation fan. A true animation fan would watch and appreciate this work of art. And yeah, some hope, fingers crossed that this movie wins Best Anime Feature next year. Disney has no chance against this masterpiece right here. This is pretty much the Spirited Away of our generation. I mean, it's not in like Spirited Away, but I mean in quality. And yeah, so with that said, Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio absolutely gets a 10 out of 10. So also for my review of Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, yes, I hope you guys will actually watch it because because this is an animation fan's dream come true. So also for my review of Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, who agrees with me that this is the best anime film of the year and the best Pinocchio movie? Comment down below, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and stay tuned for my continuation of my James Cameron reviews with Terminator 2 Judgment Day. Bye guys.